Welcome back to Unsolicited Feedback, the podcast where we cut through the noise, skip the corporate jargon, and get real about what actually drives results. Because let's be honest, hope is not a business strategy. I'm your host, Chuck Knabusch, the operations guy, and after 40 plus years across the military, corporate America, and now entrepreneurship, I've seen what works, what breaks, and why leadership, planning, and execution are the great separators between average and exceptional results. As you're catching the replay, send your thoughts or challenges directly to me at chuck@13ten.com, chuck@13ten.com. As your time matters, let's jump straight into today's topic. The most important advice for brand new supervisors and how to measure success. Stepping into your first supervisory role feels a lot like being handed the keys to a car. With no GPS, no map, and no clue if the tank is even full. And just to make it fun, everyone's already in the back seat, staring at you, waiting for you to start driving, while also judging your parallel parking skills. Today we're diving into the single most important advice for brand new supervisors. The biggest mistakes they make, the hidden challenges no one warns them about, and how to actually measure whether they're doing a good job, not just whether they're keeping the plant from catching fire. Let's get into it. The biggest problem. New supervisors don't shift from doing the work to enabling the work. They keep trying to be the hero operator instead of becoming a leader. The problem is simple, but deadly. Brand new supervisors think the job is just being the best operator plus a title. So they jump in to fix every problem, run every machine, answer every question, and rescue every employee, like Captain America with a headset. And that mindset absolutely destroys them. It burns them out. It cripples the team, and it stops the department from ever scaling. What are some other additional hidden challenges? They underestimate the role trust plays. Most aren't trained on how to earn trust, and trust is the currency of leadership. Without trust, you're just a person with a clipboard and no followers. When I was running the Newton Plywood facility, our new supervisors would walk in confidently, as could be. And within a week, they looked like they'd been chewed up by a CNC router. The ones who failed tried to outwork the team. The ones who succeeded learned to lead the team. The difference? Mindset. And it was obvious within days. So, what's the biggest symptom? The supervisor becomes the bottleneck. You'll see. The team waits on the supervisor for every decision. Problems pile up until the supervisor is available. Nothing runs without them. They're working 10, 12 hours while the team works 8. Stress, frustration, and chaos become normal. If your team can't function unless you're standing in the middle of it, congrats. You've accidentally become a single point of failure. And no leader wants to be the machine that's always down. The second symptom, accountability just disappears. Employees see the supervisor doing everything, so they don't step up. Everyone gets confused about who owns what. Small problems turn into big ones. And eventually, the supervisor starts muttering things like, I can't get good people. No, you just haven't taught them how to win yet. So here's a quick hard fact. According to Gallup, 70% of team performance variance is directly tied to the supervisor. Not the CEO, not the culture poster, the person running the shift. That's why these symptoms matter. So what do most people try to do to fix it? Well, their first mistake is they try and work harder instead of smarter. They double down, more hours, more hands-on tasks, more personal heroics, more doing instead of leading. This gives the illusion of productivity, but craters long-term execution. Mistake number 2, trying to be everyone's friend. New supervisors often say, I don't want to upset anyone. I want them to like me. That's like trying to negotiate with a tornado. Respect beats likability every time. Mistake number 3, avoiding tough conversations. They see attendance issues, missed deadlines, sloppy work, negative attitudes, and they say nothing because confrontation is uncomfortable for new leaders. Mistake number 4, overcommunicating both up and undercommunicating down. They ask their manager for guidance constantly, but rarely give their team clarity consistently. The team gets mixed signals, inconsistent direction, changing priorities, and zero expectations, which leads straight to frustration and disengagement. Mistake number 5, relying on hero moments. They think, if I save the day enough, people will see I'm a good leader. Wrong. They'll see you can't build a team, only put out fires. So I had a supervisor once who would literally sprint across the floor every time someone shouted his name. He wore his busyness like a badge of honor. But his team never grew. He never delegated, and eventually he collapsed under the weight of being indispensable. So why these mistakes or these other solutions rarely work? Well, the first reason is you become the bottleneck. The team learns to rely on you instead of themselves. Reason 2, people lose respect for inconsistent leaders. If you talk big but avoid accountability, they'll see it instantly. Number 3, you burn out before you level up. You cannot scale a department by adding hours to your personal day. Reason number 4, you train your team to stop thinking. If you answer every question, they stop making decisions. You're not developing people, you're developing dependence. And reason number 5, you destroy trust over time. People trust leaders who are consistent, follow through, communicate clearly, and coach instead of criticize. Heroics don't build trust. Consistency does. Early in my military career, when I pinned on new rank, I tried to do everything myself to prove my value. My squad sergeant pulled me aside and said something I'll never forget. If you're doing the job of the people you lead, you're stealing their ability to grow. That was a turning point. I stopped proving myself and started developing others. The one thing they can do to move the needle. The single most powerful action is to set clear expectations and follow up consistently. This solves any confusion, any performance gaps, accountability issues, trust problems, and execution inconsistency. This one behavior is the gateway skill of leadership. But how do I do it? Here's a step-by-step guide. 1, clarify the standard. What exactly does good look like today? Not a paragraph, a sentence. Here's an example. Machine 14 must hit 92% uptime this shift. 2, verify understanding. Ask, tell me what you understand about today's priorities. Their answers tell you everything. Number 3, follow up. Check in at 1 hour, mid-shift, end of shift. Not to micromanage, but to lead. 4, give immediate feedback. Positive or corrective, just do it quickly. Feedback delayed is impact denied. And number 5, track the outcomes with real measures. Use 4 categories. 1, performance metrics, output, quality, safety. 2, engagement indicators, attendance, retention, cross-training. 3, execution reliability, deadlines met, consistency. 4, personal leadership behaviors, calm, clear, fair, and dependable. If these move in the right direction, you're doing the right things. One of my best supervisors ever was a young guy fresh off the floor. Not the fastest operator, not the loudest, not even the most experienced. But he listened. He communicated. He followed up. And within 3 months, his shift was outperforming everybody else. Why? Not because he worked harder, but because he built a team that could win. And without him doing everything. Being a new supervisor is tough, but it's also one of the most rewarding leadership roles out there. You have the power to shape people's careers, protect their safety, grow their confidence, and create a team that actually enjoys coming to work. Stop trying to be the hero operator. Start being the leader who makes everyone better. If you want this turned into a downloadable checklist, worksheet, training module, or onboarding guide for new supervisors, just say the word. See you in the next video. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Unsolicited Feedback. Thanks for joining me, but don't just nod along. Apply something from today's conversation. Because results don't show up from just listening. They show up because you did something. You took action. Even one small action this week will move the needle farther than a month of good intentions. If you want to go deeper, scan the QR code or schedule a 30-minute strategy chat. I'd love to hear how you're using planning, leadership, and execution to make sure hope never becomes your business strategy. Drop a comment and like the episode. I'm Chuck Knabusch. Until next time, stay focused, stay disciplined, and don't you dare rely on hope.